before we talk about detailing, I want to talk about safety. A big part of detail is being safe, making sure your environment is safe to work in. And I have some tools I'm holding in my hand that will help make your job safer. I have a respirator, I have a back brace for your back, I have safety goggles, and I also have on the knee brace. I have a knee pad for when I bend down. I try my best to bend down as much as on the right knee as possible. So these items right here, safety glasses, the respirator, and the back brace, and the knee pad will really make your job a lot safer. Thank you. What I'm doing is saturating the motor down. I'm going to start at the top part of the hood first and get this area. And once I get that saturated, then I'm going to do the bottom part of the motor. Okay, I got the top part of the hood saturated. Now I'm going to start saturating the motor down. Trying my best not to spray chemicals directly on any electrical parts or the injectors, and hope that it'll start right up once I get through doing the motor and rinse the motor down. So you want to put a light mist over all the dirty parts. This car is not that old, and so the motor's not that dirty. So it's not going to take a lot of chemicals or a lot of time to clean the motor up. It doesn't have a lot of oil on the motor, just the motor. And the car itself is just pretty new. It's always best when you're doing an engine is to have your goggles, safety goggles on, and your respirator to keep from breathing the fumes from the chemicals and to keep chemicals from getting in your eyes. Now, I'm going to use water hose with a pressure nozzle on it, and I'm going to rinse the motor down, starting off with the top part of the hood first. Some engines that have the coil pack or distributor, as some people will call it, up front, or the spark plug, it would be best to use tape or a plastic bag or something to cover the distributor cap and spark plug wire. This motor has a cover over all the electrical parts for it, the injectors and the distributors here are distributors, so I don't have to worry about no water getting directly on those electrical parts. After I get through rinsing this motor down, I'm going to take a pressure nozzle or air pressure nozzle, and I'm going to blow the whole engine down from top to bottom, from the top part of the hood, around all the electrical parts and injectors, the air box, battery. I'm going to blow all this completely dry. And then once I completely dry it off with nozzle, then I will shine the motor up to make the motor look new again. Okay, I done rinsed off the whole engine compartment from the top part of the hood to the top part of the motor. Now it's time to blow it off. You want me to stop? You can stop it. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is blow the top part of the hood. any leaves that's around the windshield and around the wiper blades, I'll blow them out too using it. Now, a lot of people choose to do the motor while it's running because they're afraid the car won't start back up when they're through doing the motor. And I've been professionally detailing cars since 1980. And my intake on that is when a car is running, the car is sucking in gas, all the electric components are working, and if you spray a motor with the car running, there's a possibility that water might get around the injectors, it might get around the distributor or the car pad, and it might even get into the spark plugs. So I'd rather turn the car off, spray the chemicals down first, rinse the motor down, then take an air nozzle, blow the motor completely off, around the injectors, around the car pad or distributor, around the fuel injection or carburetor. And once I blow the motor dry down, then I would use some form of engine dressing to dress the motor. That's how I do it. But it's very other ways to be done, but I found this to work better for me. Okay, I have the engine completely blown off. I've blown around all the electrical parts that I can blow around. I've blown around the battery, the fuel box, and all the electrical parts, and as close as I could get around what the distributor would be on this car. Now I'm trying to shine it up with engine. All right, I'm gonna start off spraying the top part of the engine, the inside of the hood there. And I'm going to cover everything that's black or whatever color the hood is underneath. I'm going to spray it all down. The object is to get as much dirt and grease off the engine and to make it look shiny as if it's new. That's the object of what you're doing. So you want to spray it down. Later, I will start the car up after I spray it down and let the motor run while I do the door jam, the trunk jam, and then last the tire. And after that, once I've done the door jam, the trunk jam, the gas tank and the hood, then I will do the wheels. After I clean the wheels, last I will wash the car. Since this is a black car, and the day of tonight's day, I'm going to wash this car in sections. I'll probably do one side of the car first, then go back over and do the other side. That keeps the soap from drying too fast and leaving water spots on the finish before I make it get it dried out. Saturate the engine compartment down real good. You definitely want to make sure you get all the black. Hold it underneath the hood. You want to make sure that separated all that. Okay, I've saturated the hood down with engine dressing. The engine has been deflated. So I'm going to let the car run for a while, and I'm going to start on the door jam, the trunk jam, and the gas lead. And then later I will come back, blow the motor off again of the asset and spray it one more time with engine dressing, and after that it should be completely done before it's under the hood. okay, the inside door jam. I'm using the same stuff that I used on the motor. I could use the same stuff on the rims when I get ready to do the rims, but since the rims are really dirty, I really use some form of aluminum clean acid to clean the wheels. It would take less time and it would do a better job quicker than using the degreaser that I'm using to clean the door jams with, and gas leads and trunk jams with. If possible, if you have anything in the trunk while you're on the prepping of the trunk jam, you want to take it out of the trunk, or you want to cover it up with some form of plastic, like a plastic garbage bag or something. That way, whatever items you got in there won't get wet. Now I'm gonna just this pressure washer hose, and I'm gonna rinse the door jams out. It doesn't hurt for a little water to get on the panel as long as you don't get it directly onto the motor part where the panels are, like the parts that let you want to go up and down. You want to stay away from that as much as possible. Other than that, you get it a little weird, it's not going to hurt. But by the time you get to blowing it all out, and by the time you get to doing full detail, that part of the interior that will get wet will be dry by then. So I'm rinsing the door jams out. Want to rinse them real good, especially with the black car, because it has the tendency, the soap has the tendency to dry up and look dry. And if that don't look right, you might end up having to wax the door jams out. So you really want to rinse it out real good. You could also use the engine dressing if needed to spray the door jam on a dark color car, and that'll give it a lustrous shine too, instead of waxing if you don't want to wax it, to make the door jams look like the car is all new again. While doing the fuel tank release, you want to make sure your gas release half is tight, so you don't want no water going in the gas tank. I got that done. Now I'm working on the trunk lid. I got a big sleeping bag, glass tin, covered over the trunk, protecting all this valuables from getting wet. And I say again, this is a pretty new car. If I had to guess, it's about 2 years old. So the trunk jams is really not that dirty. It's dusty, have a little debris in it, but it's not really dirty like some cars. Some of the earlier model cars, door jam takes a lot more work. Everything takes a lot more work on older cars. Okay. I got the tank done. I got the door jams done, front and back. Okay, the next step is I'm gonna do the wheels. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the same degreaser I did the motor and the door jams with, and I'm going to spray the tire part of the car. I'm not going to use it on the rims because the rims are dirty and take too much degreaser between the wheels. While I'm at it, I can take some of the same degreaser and put it inside the fender wheel between the fender wheel out. Note, if this car was older, I would use acid on the fender wells, and I will use acid on the rims. But since the car is newer for a car, I'm going to use the degreaser on the fender wells and tires and the acid on the rims. I'm using straight degreaser and I'm using straight acid. In most cases, you won't need no detail brush to work in those wheels or nothing like that, because I got strong acid. Strong acid will eat through it, and I'll rotate the tires, and it'll clean the wheels up. Now, like right now, I got vapors coming off the rim because the acid is strong, and that's one of the reasons why I have on the respirator to protect my nose and mouth, and I got the goggles on because you get some strong film, well, not film, fumes coming from the acid. All the stuff that I use is commercial stuff, and I get it from a roll-around truck that sell chemicals. Some of the same stuff that's less potent is sold at automotive places. So if you can't get the production model, commercial heavy-duty chemicals, you can always go to an automotive place, and they can sell wheel acid, and they sell degreaser. You know, like Simple Green is a good degreaser. I'm not familiar about the other acids that they carry in stores because I never had to use no store-bought, automotive store-bought acid. I've always been able to use professional acid because I buy my chemicals from a professional place that sell professional chemicals. To be honest, you get two kind of products when you buy it from an automotive place compared to a place that actually sell chemicals. The chemical that you buy from most automotive places is going to be like diluted. It's not going to be as strong. It's going to take more of it, and it might not do as good of a job as they advertise the bottles or the packages. I suggest that anything you buy from automotive, you read the directions, see what's in it, and see if it really do what you need it to do. In some cases, it would say it do more than what it does. So you want to always read. You can't go wrong by reading your chemicals. You read your chemicals, you know, and chemicals that come from automotive places that can be diluted. You need to read it to know how to dilute it properly. And then after you use it several times, you'll figure out yourself how strong you really want to be. But this is straight acid right here. The degreaser is straight. Everything I'm using is good. Okay, it's time to throw the wheels off. Now that acid being straight, it just really made those wheels look good. So what I'm gonna have to do is bag the car back and get the part of the wheel that's up high that I couldn't spray with the acid. In other words, I'm gonna make a full turn on the wheel. That way I can get all the part of the rim acid and degreaser at the same time. This is what strong acid would do. And to be honest, if you have a pressure washer, you have a strong enough pressure washer, you can use pressure washer with less acid. You could probably even dilute your acid if you got a real good pressure washer. A pressure washer, right along with the acid itself, will work together, and it'll clean it really quicker than what I'm being able to do by using a garden hose. Only difference with the garden hose than a regular garden hose, I got a pressure nozzle. But here are some parts I wasn't able to get with the pressure washer because the position the tire was in. That's why I backed the car back. Now I'll saturate that area down. Sometimes if you like, you can take a brush, which I'm gonna take a paintbrush, and I'm gonna hit those little areas that look like they don't want to come clean because the wheels are there. I'm gonna let that sit. I'm gonna go to the next wheel, do the same thing. Then I'm gonna double back, get the brush, and I'm gonna work the brush with some of these little grooves on the rim. Now the back wheel is clean, even though this car is 4-wheel disc. For some reason, the front wheels always get dirtier than the back wheels. Okay, I got it all saturated. I'm gonna grab a detail brush and work the area. Okay, I got my brush. I'm gonna work it in the rear wheels like this. just a little bit. And I'm trying to get these wheels to look as good as I possibly can. That's really the art of detailing, is paying attention to fine details and trying to get the car to look as nice as you can. You want to make a car look as much as possible new. That's the technique of what I'm doing right here. Most dealerships that sell cars, sell used cars, they have someone of my stature doing something similar to what I'm doing to detail cars and make the cars look good for the next owner. And when you talk about next owner, you got some people out there. You got people out there that don't like animal smell. You got people that don't like cigarette smell. And if they buy a used car, it can't smell like cigarettes if they don't smoke, and it definitely can't have a whole lot of pet hair in it or stains from kids if they don't have kids or they don't have pets. Okay. I done worked the detail brush in this area that I couldn't get to the answer. I'll get one more wrench down. And I touch it up a little bit as I go. I already see and notice a big difference in these wheels. You notice I got on gloves. I got on heavy-duty rubber gloves. These gloves are real usable, and they're very, very strong. It's hard to cut these gloves, and they protect your hands very well. Okay, that's the wheel, one wheel is almost perfect. Go to the back. Do the same thing with the back. If I see in the areas I might need to get the brush, I get the brush. This wheel wells out again. Get up and down a little bit. Okay. I got two wheels completely done. I got the fuel tank done. I got all four doors done. And the door jams are clean. And I got the motor clean and shiny. So I'm going to blow off the assets with the air hose, and I'm going to respray the engine again with some more dressing. All blown off. I'm going to spray it one more time with the engine dressing. This method that I'm using, I haven't had a car not start up since I started with this method. I don't, like I said before, I don't start the car up until I completely blow the motor compartment out. And if possible, I blow around all the injectors, fuel injector, itself, injector, carburetor, and all the electrical parts. And I haven't had a car not start on me since I've been using this method. This method here I've been using about 15 years. And I haven't had a car that I've done like this not start. Now I've had some cars not start that I didn't use this method, but since I've been using this method on every car, I will degrease the motor I never had a car not start. So because of that, I'm stuck on this method. I'm gonna take 15 to 20 minutes covering up a distributor cap, taping up spark plug wires if I have to, and protecting the injectors, then spend hours hoping I can get a car to start back. Okay, have the motor completely done again, and I'm just gonna go. I've already mixed up some soap and water of this solution I'm getting ready to use. I'm going to use this solution because it helps bring all the debris up to the surface and off the car body. I'm going to use this one step, then I'm going to go back with it after I buff the car completely out. Since it's a black car, I'm doing a 3-step buffing technique on it, and I go through the steps after I start buffing. And this is like a paint sealant, so I'm using this to wash it with, and this the paint sealant at the end. This would be the last product I put on the exterior to make the paint shinier and last longer. This will work, this paint sealant. Paint sealant is always stronger than any wax you can use. Regardless what kind of carnauba wax you use, carnauba wax is real good. But if you can get you some paint sealant to seal your car with, paint sealant will last longer than carnauba will. Okay, since it's hot outside, I'm washing this car in sections. I'm gonna wash the driver's side first, then I'm gonna wash the passenger side second. So I'm gonna pre-wet the car, and if need to be, I'll wash half of the driver's side first, just half of the car, then wash the other half. It depends on how fast you can wash the car thorough, if you can wash the whole car now. And I'm a pretty good thorough car washer, so I'm gonna be able to wash the whole side of the driver's side without having to break it up in sections. But if I was gonna break it up, had to break it up in sections, I probably would wash half the hood up to maybe the first door, and then the second door on the driver's side, all the way up to half of the trunk. That if I had to break it up in sections. But like I said, since I can wash the car pretty fast, I'm gonna wash that whole half of hood, the front fender, all 4 doors, the top, and the trunk. I'm gonna do it all with one sweep. I'm gonna start off on the top, washing the hood, top part of the car. Then I'm gonna go to the back driver window. Now I'm on the back driver door. Now I'm going to the driver quarter panel. Even though this back window is already clean, I'm going to go over half of that back window. Now, I'm working my way around the trunk. I'm going to do half the trunk. Bumper, driver's side, back bumper. Okay, I got that down. I'm gonna work my way up front. Get the front window, door window. Now I'm on the body of the front door. That way, if I miss any part of the body, the car is really dirty. After people soak the sand, go back over the car. When I'm grinding it off and get access. Okay. Well, around to the front, I'm on the bumper. And since we have a grill, I'm going to use some of the same degrees that I used earlier on the loader and the door jams and the trunk jams to hit his grill. After it's completely dry, and after I run, I'm going to use a can of aerosol can spray that we call Quick Detail, or I could use the same stuff I turned the motor up with to turn the grill. Because of the material the grill is made out of, I could shine it up because it's black. It's made out of the same material the dash is made out of. Some cases grills are chrome and you have to use something entirely different. Okay, I got the whole side of the driver done, washed. So now it's time to rinse it off. I'll probably start at the back. Doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna start at the back. Start rinsing the car off. What's good about this water hose and soap, as I'm rinsing the top off, it's traveling down to the front and back window. And I can rinse that glass off. Go back over the trunk. Rinse off the back bumper. The half the back bumper on the driver's side that I washed previous with oil. Back passenger door. Front passenger door. Now I'm going to rinse out the mirror just in case we got any soap in it. While I'm ready, I'm getting water on the channel. That way it'll be wet and ready to dry the car out. Okay, I got the whole driver's side done. My next step will be to do the same steps that I just got finished doing, but I will be doing it on the passenger side. Okay. Wash both sides of the car from front to back. Now it's time to dry the car off. So I'm going to start up top. Bring all the water down from the car, body to the surface, bottom surface. Give me a second, I'm trying to adjust my glasses. It is so easy not to want to wear these goggles and these glasses because they really get all foggy, and respirators make your mouth sweat. But for safety reasons, I found that it's best for me to use. Because I've got chemicals in my eyes, I've got the smell of chemicals in my nose and in my lungs. It's just safe to do. Sheepskin to where it's durable. You can buy one of these professional sandals. I'm not talking about the ones we got in automotive stores. They don't last long and they don't do as good of a job as this sandal I have in my hand. This sandal will last me 5 years if I don't use it, if I don't lose it or more. To be honest, the older it gets, the better it's substance. up the water, absorb the water. So I would rather spend $20 if it's possible for me to get this kind of thing than $5 on a cheap one that might last a year. And remember, it depends on how many times I use it. I'm using my chamois on a consistent basis because I've been detailing on a consistent basis since 1990. Now I'm about 5 chamois since 1990. And I wouldn't have had to buy them if I didn't lose the ones I had previous. They didn't wear out, I just lost them. Okay, I'm on the hoods, I'm going to the passenger side, little part of the top, and do the same thing on that passenger side that I'm doing on the driver's side.
Pause?
No, you don't have to. I'm gonna go ahead and do the whole car, right now, the whole car. Right there. Another thing that I do too is once I get the car completely dried off and before I bust, I always blow out all around on my cracks and crevices to get the excess water out of the cracks, because that water, when buffing the car, buffer is acting as a vibrator. It is shaking the body of the car. Then you have water coming out of the seams, and it can make you wet, wax wet, and get your buffer pads all wet. So what I do is blow it all out, completely blow it out until I don't see no more water coming out of the car. Then it's time for me to start. Next thing I'm going to do once you get this car completely completely washed down, I'm going to do a big inspection on this car to look at all the real bad scratches, nipples in it, and see areas that I might pay more attention to. Now, I've been doing this for a while, so I already have in my mind how I'm going to buff this car. And with this car being a dark car, there's a certain way I gotta buff it anyway. If not, it's gonna leave swirls, and the customer is gonna be unhappy. And once I start doing my visual inspection, I will definitely have to take these safety glasses off, because I need to be able to see exactly what I'm doing. Now what I'm doing is I'm walking around getting the visual inspection, doing a visual inspection over the car, trying to see, notice the scratches. Now, some scratches, because how hard you buff and long, won't come out if you don't watch out. You can damage the paint or burn the paint. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the whole exterior part of the car, but I'm looking at the scratches that I know I can get out without damaging the paint. I noticed from my past experience on buffing cars out, areas of concern is like around the fender wells, around the front and back lights, the spoiler right here. And anywhere where it's molded at, there's always a concern that you might either burn the paint or mess up the molding. So I will tape up the molding before I buff. All the molding on the car, I will take it all off. Keep from damaging the molding or getting buffer compound. Okay, I'm walking around the driver's side of the car. I've seen a couple scratches. Walk around the passenger side. And I see a few on the passenger front fender. Some on the front passenger door. That's around the door handles. That could look better. I'll come out. And I see a real heavy swirl on the back door that I know I can get out. Don't look and judge me by this car. I don't think it had a good coat of ice on it except one. But overall, this is a good looking exterior. This is a good car. Yeah. has less scratches than a car this age and this color would normally have. So overall, the car paint's in good shape. I want to take the door handles up too when I get ready to start up. Okay, the next thing to do is to check my motor out, because I got everything washed and clean, and I want to make sure I don't have no more work to do on my motor before I start on the interior.
What is that? Press it.
Hey, pause it for a minute. Oh, here we go. Man, I thought we were going to get up out of there. Okay, the motor looks real good. It looks practically brand new. It's only one other thing I want to do. I want to wipe the end of the corners out. Put a little engine dressing right there. And up in here. Okay, that's fine right there. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is get ready to shine the grill. I'm going to shine the grill up. I could wait till later, but sometimes I forget the grill. So I'm going to shine the grill up right now. I'm going to use air. I'm going to use air to blow it off like I did. Some liquid shine in the can, and I'm going to spray the grill. After the grill, I'm going to blow the body of the car off around the seams, the door handles, and all the cracks, because I'm going to be buffing soon. And I want to get rid of the excess water. So first time we do.
Ready.
Okay. I'm going to blow the gas lid. I'll get the excess water around. I'm going to blow the trunk drains out. I'm going to do it on both sides. Removing all the excess. Removing all the excess. I'm going to step on the other side. Okay. Got all the water flowing out of the thing. Now I have several things I could do. I could shine the tires up and the wheel wells right now. But since I have series of buffing to do and to keep a compound getting on the tires and messing the tires back up, I'm gonna wait until I do my last wax, which I'll be using the paint sealant to shine my tires up. So the next step is for me to start on the inside. Okay. Now I done already taken the mats out of this car previous before I wash the car, and I'm gonna do the mats after I get finished with the interior. First thing I'm gonna do, I have all the seats pushed forward towards the front seats. I'm gonna blow off all the door panels. I'm gonna blow between all the cracks of the back, and I'm gonna blow everything up front. So where when it's time to vacuum clean, I can vacuum clean. Now some real back seats windows go down and allow you to be able to get back there real good to do the inside back window and to blow any trash out in the back windows that may be back there, but these back windows, these back seats don't go down. So I'm gonna have to do the best I can with the air lock. So that'll be the first thing I do. I start in the back window. I'm gonna blow out what particles I can out of the bag, and then I work my way from the seat, back seat. From the back seat, I blow between the seats and blow everything outside or up front. Okay. I'm gonna take a peek and see if I got what I feel good. I see a couple places I didn't get it, so I'm gonna go back and use those areas. Hey, as much as possible, if you walking, just pause. You know what I mean? Until you get to. Now, to be honest, the inside of this car seats and door panels are pretty clean. I'm gonna give it a light scrub with the brush with some chemicals, but I don't have to do a whole lot on the inside when it comes down to seats and the door panels. Mainly because the car is new, pretty new. Second, if the interior is black. Usually when you have black interior, it just don't show dirt and it don't show scuff marks or nothing like that as well as lighter color interior does. And that's good for me, because then that means I can set the pace up. So I'm gonna blow the door panel off. You might want to come behind me. This door panel blowed out. And I'm gonna blow here off, sit down, and blow all the cracks. Showing all the cracks that I can get between the seats, all up front. A lot of times, since this car is small, I can reach over to the passenger side and blow it out while I'm blowing the back out. Blow everything on the passenger side up front too, while I'm in the back seat. I can get a lot done in the back seat because of the size of the car. It allowed me to be bent over on the other side without actually going around it. Come around on this side. Come around on this side. That's all. Come around this way. It ain't gonna hurt you to get to one side. started doing this, about 30 years ago, I didn't know about air. And to be honest, I don't know nobody that was really using air at the time. So we had to do everything the old-fashioned way, get as much trash as we could out by hand. There was areas we couldn't get with our hands. We had to use brushes to get, and we had to wipe everything down. And sometimes the vacuum cleaner didn't look as thorough because it was only so far we could go with the with our hands. But when air came in, I don't know when air actually came in, but I started using air in the 90s, like 91 or 92. And since I've been using air, it done cut down a lot of time and made my job so much easier. Air, using an air nozzle with an air line, you can get in areas that you could never get under seats without taking the seats off. And let's face it, when you start taking seats out, you know, you're killing time because you got to take the seats out and put them back in. And sometimes some of these newer seats have electrical outlets and plug-ins. If you don't plug it in right, the seat might not work right. Or you might break a bolt trying to get the seat out. So it's best as possible not to take seats out. I try my best not to take seats out. And air had made it very, very possible using airlines. Cars really coming along good with this air. Because of air, I'm able to get air under that I couldn't get with a regular vacuum cleaner. In a few seconds, I'm going to go on the passenger side and get what we are on the left. But this air does such a good job. I know it ain't leaking. Today is a nice day. It gets us about 75 or 80 degrees today. Once I pull the car inside, I'm gonna have to let the body of the car cool off because it's dark and it's hot. And most chemicals, once you start using it past 55 or 60 degrees, then it don't perform right, so it's best to have the car cool off before you start. Now I'm up front. I'm not gonna blow too much up front because I need to do a heavy vacuum cleaner. I don't want to blow all the trash around in the front. I'm going to go around on the other side and blow the passenger side. Maybe on the left and blow down. You notice I'm not using any chemicals here because I haven't found no real bad spot or thing. Usually I bleach by the car after I blow it out if I see the bad spot. But with this car being new, okay. I done already pre-spotted a few areas and sprayed some solution around the cup holders, the gear shifter inside of the vents. I'm gonna blow all that out once I get up front. I'm gonna blow most of the trash that I can blow with the air nozzle up front. Okay, I want to get a good shot of how it looks so far. Come up closer, cameraman, and shoot a good shot on the inside on how it looks so far. Okay, now we're gonna move up front. Okay, now we're gonna move up front. That's pretty clean. We're gonna move up front. Sit back and work up front. We'll blow out the vents that I already pre-solution. I suggest if you never did detail before, is not to do anything around the radio. because the radio can get solution in and it might not play right. So for amateurs, it's best not to even worry about around the radio. Just blow it around with air. Don't blow directly into the radio or stereo system. Just blow around it, and that way you want to worry about it not starting. Blowing on the gear shifter. Now I'm going to blow out the cup holder. You don't want to look directly in the cup holder until you blow out all the solution, because solution get in your eyes, especially if you don't have on goggles. That's the purpose for wearing these goggles, because when you're blowing cars out, all kinds of trash and particles flies around in the car and it can't get in your eyes. Speaking of goggles, I don't have my goggles. Goggles and see how good it looks. Cup holder look okay, it needs just a little bit more work. Put the goggles back on. Okay, cup holder's clean. In between the seats, on the passenger side is clean, the driver side seat, in between the seats need a little bit more work. I'm blowing from the driver side, from the passenger side, blowing between the cracks, between the seats. I make it a purpose when I sit inside of a car and I do a visual inspection on the inside of the car. I look between the seats, I look in the cup holders, I look in the vents, I look around the radio, I look up at the dash as much as possible. I look up at the ceiling to see if I see any real bad spots at the ceiling. I look around the speedometer area to make sure it ain't no trash. Looking for troubled areas. We have a good day for detailing. Some days when it's overcast and raining, you can't see as well inside of a building. So I suggest that you look and do an inspection on the inside of the car first. That way when you get the car inside after you've done the prep work, you know exactly where the trouble areas are and you know what to look for and what to take care of once you get the car inside. Just today, I'm dealing with an 07 model car. It's being well maintained. The seats and everything is in good shape. And for what I can see, everything's fine. It looks like a car this age should look. So I'm gonna go around on the other side, blow out around the speedometer area, and between the seats over there where the fuel door release is at, and after that I'll be ready to start vacuum cleaning. I'm gonna walk around here, I'm gonna blow out of that, and I'm gonna start vacuum cleaning. Okay, when I was previous over on the passenger side, not the passenger side, I already had not really much more to go. Drop the seat. Dash. Go around the fuel release. Okay, I'm ready to vacuum clean. I got the car completely blowed out. I'm gonna vacuum clean all the trash now. It's on the floor. It's all up front. Very good trash on the back. So I'm gonna vacuum clean the front out, push the seat forward as I do the front. Then I'll vacuum what's left in the back. Then I'll be ready to spot up clean the seats. Which the seats are pretty clean, but I'm gonna spray a light mist of solution and go across with the carpet cleaning brush just to make it smell better and look a little bit better. Okay. Even though this car it belongs to a smoker. I can tell by the ashtray and the ashes I found in the car. This car has been well maintained, but you have people that own cars that's heavy smokers, and people that own cars that have tests. A lot of the interiors on these cars is in a lot worse shape than what this car is. This car is black. It's a newer model car, and the person that owns this car have really maintained this car. Even though they smoke, it doesn't smell heavy with smoke. They have all kinds of solutions for smoke smell and urine smell. If you have an animal in their urine, what I suggest is, like I said earlier, go to an automotive place, tell them what you have them point you in a direction where the chemicals you might need is on that aisle. Pick it up, read it, and make sure it does what you want it to do. And the most important thing is when you're doing this here, make sure if you have something that have any kind of like Clorox or something in it, you got to be careful. You might even want to test an area and make sure that it's not going to fade, because some of the chemicals you use on certain material will fade. So you want to make sure that it's not going to fade. If you're not sure about it, find an area that's not that noticeable and you try that area first. That's only if you're not sure. Most chemicals that you use to take odors out would tell you on the bottle or can on what it does, and you just have to use it and find out for sure. We have different types of chemicals. That's, like I said, there's commercial chemicals that we use to take smells out of the car. They also have a machine that they call it's like a ozone machine, and it sprays like a foggy mist inside the car, and it pulls out the odor, be it smoke odor or be it pet odor. It pulls the smell out of the car. Most cases you have to have out the car on for several hours and check it periodically to make sure the smell is gone. The machine that I'm talking of now is pretty spendy. It could cost you $400. It depends on what it does, on how much you're gonna pay, and that's something else that you will have to spend on commercial. That you could only buy through a commercial dealer, a person that's kind of equipment like the carpet cleaning machine, the extractor machines, the machine that you use to take the smoke and the pet machine out. It's like a defogger. That equipment like that, you have to actually buy it from a vendor that carries that kind of product. It's not going to be something you can just walk inside a Walmart and Kmart and get out. To make you more familiar on what the machine does, it's almost like a humidifier. So this car, even though the person that owns this car smokes, this car don't have a bad odor smell. It don't smell. So you can find any kind of deodorizer and mix it the way they say mix it, and spray it either onto the carpets or spray it onto the seats. What I usually do is I water and I clean the panels, I clean the seats and everything with it. I might put a lid in my cleaning while I'm cleaning the seats and the carpets and the mats, and then I also put some in a spray bottle. If it's aerosol, spray vents, the vents will circulate odor through the car. So if you deodorize the vents, that's another way to keep the smell inside the car. So between spraying stuff in the vents, putting it in my solution to clean the inside of the car with, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna limit the odor. If it don't go away, it's gonna smell less than it did before you start. I've been in the dealership business for the last 25 years doing automotive cars. And when you're doing automotive cars, used cars, you get all kinds of customers. You get customers that don't smoke, you get customers that don't drink, you get customers that don't have kids, you get customers that don't like animals. And I always found that once in the car smoker and have animals, now out of the neck body, it's not gonna have no animals and they ain't gonna smoke. So they're gonna be able to smell that smell real quick, and they almost expect for the car to be the inside of the car to be new. You know, it's just the way it is. I don't know why a smoker won't buy another smoker car, and I don't know why a guy that owns pay won't buy a some reason, everybody wants to feel that they got a new car. And they can't feel like they got a new car if they get a car and they're not a smoker and it smell like smoke. Or a car that smell like urine from animals and they don't like pests. And get the front passenger on the driver's side. When I get ready to clean these carpets, I'm gonna use the carpet extractor machine to vacuum clean the solution up, because it sucks better than the average vacuum cleaner, and it can also get this grind in dirt. Spread the top part of the surface of the dirt. I'm using this vacuum cleaner. It's only natural for some fibers to get, trash to get caught up in some of the fibers and not want to come out. So I'm gonna get up and get my wire brush. I'm gonna use the wire brush. The brush is just out there, grass and trash that got caught up in the garbage. Hopefully it'll break it or loose, and I can vacuum clean more thorough. You can pause it.
Ready?
Yeah. I got my iron brush. This brush is really good for getting grind in dirt loose from the fibers and bringing the dirt up to the surface. So I give it a couple strokes with this iron brush. The teeth on this brush is metal, and it's stronger than any other interior brush you could use on the interior. You don't want to use it on vinyl, but this brush is wired, and it will scratch up the vinyl, but it's safe to use on carpets and seats. So I'm just brushing, and as I'm brushing, grit comes. And then I just turn around and reach back to clean that area. It's good that this car has mats, because I've seen people buy brand new cars with no mats. And even with black interior, a brand new car with no mats, eventually your interior is going to get, your floors are going to get real, real dirty. Especially living in Washington State where it rains so many months out of the year. You want to have mats, and to be honest, if I had a choice of mats, I would always go with rubber mats. Rubber mats last longer, it takes less to clean them. You know, while with cloth mats, they stain, and it takes cleaning. Rubber mats might be a little bit more expensive up front, but if you keep the car 3 or 4 years, the rubber, some of the mats that you get out of a Kmart made for the front and floor back. Because these mats are cut and designed to fit in the areas that need to fit to keep from letting trash get in those areas. Not only that, if you spill something on a rubber mat, you can suck it up with a vacuum cleaner or wipe it off. But with a cloth mat, you waste something, it's gonna go right into the damn interior. Even if you pay for a fabric protection, you're still gonna get a big stain in the mat. And if you drinking anything that got artificial flavor in it, just like pop, it's gonna permanently stain the car, even if it's black. Sometimes than any other seat. the inside, I'm looking around, and I'm looking at the ceiling, and I'm trying to see if I see any spots in the ceiling that I could probably get out. You don't want to use no brush. You definitely don't want to use the carpet cleaner. You don't want to use nothing hard on the headliner. Most headliners are stuck with, it's hung on the inside with glue. You get it too hot or you scrub it too hard, the headliner may and we re-glue it or replace the headliner. Head will be $200 on up. So let's say here, I wanted to try to clean it safely. Okay, they got all kinds of solvent to use, and solvent is good for taking out black marks that get in them. See, headliner that got a black mark and it look kind of greasy. You want to spray you some solvent on a rag and maybe have it like this. Then you want to spray. If you don't have aerosol can, you could use some other form of shampoo. You know what I mean? Most shampoos gonna be in an aerosol can or it's gonna be in a spray bottle. In this case, the aerosol can I'm using is in a spray. Let it sit for a few seconds. Then I would take some other grease and I would take it and spray it. What I need to do, which I didn't do, I have on my mask, but I'm is here because it could drip down into your face. I got on my mask. You just rub the solvent, the fold can solution, and the spray ball if you have it. All in real gently. And in most cases, the solvent's so strong, in most cases, the solvent by itself might take the spot out. But probably, normally I use some kind of other solution to go with the solvent. And presto, the stain is gone. You don't never, I say again, you don't never want to use nothing hard. You don't want to use no kind of brush. Even if the brush is soft and they say, oh, this is a dog hair brush and this is not gonna hurt the interior. Well, I destroyed some headliners just by using soft brushes. When I first started doing this work, I used the carpet cleaner machine on the headliner because I didn't know no better. And it looked fine, and man, but in about a couple of hours, the whole headliner just fell down. And that's when I realized it was holed in by glue and some very cheap-ass particle paper or something. So I learned a valuable lesson. Good thing about that lesson was my car. That's it.
All right, EJ. So you...
Okay, I found the best way for me when I'm doing the inside of a car, be it a van, a truck, or whatever. If it has a back and front window, which all cars do, I'm gonna do the inside window before I get out of the car. So I'm gonna start with the back inside window on this first, and then once I get up front, then I'm gonna do the front window. The reason why I do that, because if I do the back inside window now, and then if I gotta shampoo the seats and I gotta shampoo the carpets, then I don't have to worry about sitting down on nothing wet because I did the carpets and seats first and then I did the windows last. I guess I could, if I really wanted to, let the car run and dry the interior out and then do the windows, which it's nothing wrong with that, but for me, it works better if I go ahead and do the windows now. That way I ain't gotta worry about getting back in, sitting down on that guff work, or laying out all my work. So I'm gonna spray just enough glass cleaner in the back window. At some back windows, back seats go down, and it just make it easier back. So let your head rest down. Let the glass cleaner sit for a few seconds. You want to use a cloth that don't leave lint. They have a lot of cloths out there that's sold. You know what I mean? You can probably even get them from Walmart and Kmart that don't leave lint. Yep. If you use lint, my cleaning, it's gonna be so much lint. I already pre-sprayed it. Taking my cloth. Pre-spray it again, even though I've already sprayed it, but the glass cleaner is dried already. I'll do the front windshield the same way once I get through shining up the back, and it'll be after I clean the floorboard and the back seat. We'll do the front weather the same way. Clean it before I do the cleaning of the front seat and the front floorboard. That way I won't have to. I just working, going back over my work. And this one on the side. Okay, in most cases, you have people that's single that really don't have a lot of people riding in the back. And if they don't have children riding in the back, and if they don't have any animals in the back, then the back seat and the floorboard in the back is not gonna need as much attention. Observing this car, the back floorboard and the back part of the sofa seat is in pretty fair shape. And I'm gonna spray it real mist with some upholstery cleaner just to give it a light mist. And then I'm gonna spray some carpet cleaner shampoo on top of it. And I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes. And I'm gonna light scrub it with my scrubbing carpet brush. But the saddle's having a lot more work, a lot more activity going on up front. So I'm gonna have to clean the front passenger and driver seat a little better, and the floorboards. Because the mats, I had to work on them harder, and I'm gonna have to clean the floorboards on the front. Okay, I'm spraying a little mist over the bottom part of the seat, and I can just reach over and get the whole full seat. And I'm gonna let it soak in and sit for a couple of minutes. And it depends on how bad the interior is in the back. This is, like I said before, this interior in the back is pretty good, so I don't have to let it sit a long time. Well, which when I get up front, I spray the front, then I'm going to let it sit a little bit longer on the seats and on the floorboard. Because most of his activity being up front. When we ready?
Ready.
Okay, since these door panels and the upholstery up in here, it's not that dirty, I'm gonna spray it real lightly with a mist, and I'm gonna spray this down a little bit and clean it. First, I'm gonna spray the upholstery, spraying the can, and then I'm gonna go over it with this mist. And I have a scrub brush, and I'm gonna get my scrub brush, and I'm gonna scrub it lightly. Some cars I've done, I've had to clean the whole panel and blow the whole panel off because they was extremely dirty. But again, this is a pretty new car. It's only 2 years old, with the interior being black and with not a lot of people sitting in the back seat. It's very easy to clean. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna take the air nozzle and blow it off. That I do the other 3 door panels the same way. Then afterward, when I start shining up my vinyl, I shine the vinyl up on it. The chemicals that I sprayed on the upper part of the seat, back seat, and the floorboard in the back have had enough time to soak in, and like I said before, it wasn't that dirty. So I'm gonna give it a light scrub. I'm using a scrub brush All upholstery machines don't come with a scrubbing tool. Any accessories like that is more, and it's extremely expensive. So I've created a little brush that'll do what I need to do for scrubbing, and I don't have to use my hands to scrub with, and I don't have to mix up no water and use a scrub brush. So it works like this here. While using it, the little brush is turning around, and it's almost like I'm buffing inside the car, but I got a scrub brush on it. So I'm gonna give it a light scrub. Now it depends on how bad the interior is, how long you gotta scrub, and where you want your speed at. Since this interior is in good shape, the speed that I'm using is a good, comfortable speed. If the interior was in worse shape, I would turn the speed on the buffer down, because the buffer have dials on it to be able to control the speed. So I could turn it up higher, I could turn it down lower, but this is a comfortable speed. So I'm gonna brush the rest of the entire back seat down with this brush. And once I get through doing the brush, running the brush across the back seat, the next thing I would do is run it on the floorboards in the back. Okay, the good thing, and I done already cleaned the back window. So now I don't have to sit down on a damp back seat to do any windows. I done already done the window in the back, and I've already cleaned half the passenger, half of the driver back seat, and I'm gonna go over on the passenger side, clean the other part of the back seat. Then I'm gonna do the floorboards. And then only thing left in the back is to shine up the door panels and shine up the console and all the other vinyl that's in the back. Then I move up front and do the same thing to the front. Okay, you put it up. We wanted to go to
We're ready.
Chuck's. Get one. Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready.
Okay. One thing about using this brush in the back and on the seats, you gotta be real careful and alert at all times, because the brush can rub up against the interior and leave marks. It's okay, I guess, if it's your car, but if it's a customer car or a dealership car, if you're doing details for a living for a dealership, you want to be extremely careful. They make brushes smaller than this that can get into the area better, but I haven't been able to locate one at the time I was looking for a brush, so I've been working with this. I just keep while using it, the little brush is turning around, and it's almost like I'm buffing inside the car, but I got a scrub brush on it. So I'm gonna give it a light scrub. that depends on how bad the interior is, how long you got to scrub, and where you want your speed at. Since this interior is in good shape, the speed that I'm using is good, comfortable speed. If the interior was in worse shape, I would turn the speed on the buffer down, because the buffer have dials on it to be able to control the speed. So I could turn it up higher, I could turn it down lower, but this is a comfortable speed. So I'm gonna brush the rest of the entire back seat down with this brush. And once I get through doing the brush, running the brush across the back seat, the next thing I would do is run it on the floorboards in the back. And I done already cleaned the back window. So now I don't have to sit down on a damp back seat to do any windows. I done already done the window in the back, and I've already cleaned half the passenger, half of the driver back seat, and I'm gonna go over on the passenger side, clean the other part of the back seat. Then I'm gonna do the floorboards. And then only thing left in the back is to shine up the door panels and shine up the console and all the other vinyl that's in the back. Then I move up front and do the same thing to the front. Okay, you can cut it up. We wanted to go to
We're ready.
Chuck's. Get one. Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready.
Okay. One thing about using this brush in the back and on the seats, you gotta be real careful and alert at all times, because the brush can rub up against the interior and leave marks. It's okay, I guess, if it's your car, but if it's a customer car or a dealership car, if you're doing details for a dealership, you want to be extremely careful. They make brushes smaller than this that can get into the area better, but I haven't been able to locate one at the time I was looking for a brush, so I've been working with this. I just keep focus and stay alert on it when I'm using it, and I've been able to do pretty good with it. I'm gonna start off shining up the door panel on the driver back seat. This dressing is the same dressing I used on the grill, the same dressing I used on the engine to shine the engine up. They have multiple purposes, and it's really beginning to make this door panel look a new door panel. In most cases, it's gonna look better than a new panel, because dealerships, when they sell new cars, they don't treat the leather. If you want leather treated like that, or your vinyl treated, you have to pay extra money. And that becomes like a car care deal where you get your fabrics protected from stains, the vinyl and leather dressed to protect it and strengthen it, to keep it from wearing real fast and protect it from the sun, and a form of paint sealant to protect the paint. I will be performing a paint sealant on this car. I've already washed the car in the solution. I'm gonna use the same kind of solution that goes with the paint protection to do a final wax of the car. What I won't do in this section here is do a fabric protection. I will have other classes and will be other volumes on how to do fabric, leather, and paint. But right now, since this customer is spending quite a bit of money, I'm throwing in a fabric well, not, excuse me, not a fabric, but a paint protection and a vinyl leather protection. That's only because of the amount of money the customer's spending. But most details won't call for that. Then you have some customers that don't even want their interior treated. They want the natural dry look. That's why you see a lot of dashes all cracked up and leather weighing before it should, and they start getting all these wiggly lines and stretches in the leather, and they don't know what it's come from. It comes from not having the leather with leather protection. What's cracking up and separating. Yeah, it might take a year or two for that to happen. To keep your car 5 years, why not go ahead and spend a couple $100 to go ahead and get your leather treated? That way you can avoid having those issues, especially if you're gonna trade the car in. You want your car to look as good as it can possibly look. Then when you get ready to trade it in, you get more money for your trade-in. And I'm using the same stuff on the dash. I'm gonna use the same thing on the brake release. And I'm just gonna shine up everything black that's vinyl, be it vinyl or leather. I can use the same stuff, and I'm gonna treat this whole bag. I do it now, and it could be soaking in and drying. And if I miss some spots, after I pull the car in the light, I go back over the spots I missed. And afterward, this car's actually gonna look better than it did when it was sold in 07 from Mazda, because the vinyl and leather's been treated. And like I said before, it doesn't come with that from the factory. Okay, so let me know when you're ready.
Ready to go.
Okay, I'm getting ready to do the front windshield. I already did the back windshield. A lot of times, detailer outfit forget the speed thermometer mirror, so I sprayed that where I won't forget it. When I get through doing the rearview mirror, when I get through doing the front windshield, I do the speed thermometer mirror, and I'll wipe down around the stereo area. If this car had a sunroof in it, then I would get the sunroof too at the same time. So now it's time to do the inside front windshield. After I get through doing the windshield and all the other areas, I spray glass cleaner. I wipe the stereo off. I'm gonna shine the dash up. And I'm gonna spray some quick detail that gives the vents that new shiny look. I'm gonna do the vents too. That way the vents look new. Customer turn the air conditioner on or heater, depends on what time of the season it is. They'll be able to see the vents looking all shiny and new. Come to the side, get that. Watch yourself, I don't want you to fall back. The steering column down. I'm gonna get the speed thermometer window. Wipe around the speed thermometer. A lot of times when you're blowing around the vents in the radio compartment, you get all kinds of debris on the speed thermometer window. A lot of times people forget to take it off. Okay, I'm gonna hit the mirrors on the sun visors while I'm at it. Clean them two up. Go back over the rear view mirror. Then come over and get the other side at the other mirror. Rear view mirror. Okay, now it's time for me to wipe around the stereo area itself. Got debris from where I blew around it and blew around the vents. So I wiped that off. In some cases, some of these cars have wood grain. You can look at the wood grain and tell when it's not real. If it's not real wood grain, don't put nothing shiny on it. No leather treatment, nothing that's gonna shine it up, because it's gonna end up looking greasy. And when they touch it, they're gonna get grease on their hands. And nobody like driving a car and reaching for something and touching a bunch of grease. So I'm wiping off I wiped off the radio area. Now I'm walking around the console of the car, getting all the debris out. There we go, right there, turn it out. Get that out of the way. And see, this is natural. Wiping down the console area